Well, hello everyone. This is Al Fadi, and I want to welcome you to a very special video series that deals with a timely topic related really to my home country, Saudi Arabia. And the topic that we are going to cover in this particular short series has to do with the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia and his really vision to reform not just the country, but even recently in an interview that was conducted on April 27th of 2021, his vision even to reform parts of the Islamic traditional narrative and sources, if you wish. Obviously, in the interview, he was asked specific questions concerning certain aspects of Islam, and his answers were amazing because it caught the attention of many, including, of course, myself. And with me here to even unpack this particular interview is our dear brother, Dr. Jay Smith. Dr. Jay, thank you so much, as always, for being here with us, for taking the time to do this. But, you and I obviously talk about, multiple topics all the time, especially topics related to the origin of Islam. But little that I ever thought we will be talking about something related to this particular issue and the interview that was conducted with the Crown Prince of Saudi in April of 27th.
Yeah. Well, I have been talking about this on the internet, and I have actually done 3 major videos, sessions on this with others. But I really wanted to talk with you because you are from Saudi Arabia, and I would like you now to think as a Saudi Arabian. You look like a Saudi Arabian. This is your dress. I want you to now go back as a Saudi Arabian. I want you to listen to what I'm going to present because this is the first time you're hearing it, this categories and the things I'm going to bring up. And I want you to react as a Saudi Arabian and also as a former Muslim yourself. Because what we're dealing with in this interview is earth-shattering. It's foundational concerning everything I've known about Islam. And it happened just a while ago with an interview that has now gone all over the world. Yet the repercussions to it, I think, are only beginning, and I'd like to know where we're going to go and see what we should see in the future. So there are a number of things I want to bring up in this series of episodes. First and foremost, I want to talk about Mohammad bin Salman. He is the Saudi prince. Now hold on a minute. When we hear Saudi prince, what does that mean? Unpack that first of all, so that people know.
Well, I mean, to say a Saudi prince, obviously, automatically any Saudi will associate them with the Al Saud or the House of Saud, which is the family that founded the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. In fact, the Al Saud or the House of Saud is named after the founder Mohammad bin Saud, which we have a university named after him in Riyadh. The country is named after him. Saudi is after, the name of Mohammed bin Saud, who is the founder of the kingdom itself. And we're talking here about the Crown Prince, who is next in line to become the future king and the leader of the country. And that's why the comments he made in this interview are, like you said, have gone viral because you've never heard anything like it before coming from the top, basically, authority in the country.
Well, let's go back, and I want to unpack this interview. Here, let's look at the slide. You can see a picture of the Saudi prince on the left there. That's Mohammed bin Salman. And he's being interviewed by Abdullah al-Mudayfar, who, in fact...
Al-Mudayfar, yeah.
Go ahead and say his name.
Yeah, Abdullah al-Mudayfar.
And so it's his show. Liwan al-Mudayfar's show is what is a very common show. It's a very popular show. And this was broadcast on Al Arabiya TV, which is the national broadcaster, there on April 27th. So it was a purposeful interview with the understanding that he was going to talk about what they call the 2030 project. Now, the 2030 project is something that was started in 2015 by, let's just call him MBS, Mohammed bin Salman. Everybody calls him by the 3 initials, MBS. So MBS initiated this project back in 2015, a 15-year project where they were going to modernize Saudi Arabia. And they were going to pull Saudi Arabia away from its petrochemicals, away from the oil, dependency on oil, correct, and make it a magnet for the whole world. Now, to do that, what they've decided is they're going to modernize buildings. Let me just show you this next slide. Here, take a look at this next slide. Some of these buildings are futuristic. Some of these buildings are already built. Others are in the process of being built. These are buildings that are all over, primarily in Riyadh, your capital, which is right there in the middle of the desert. So these buildings are enormous. Take a look at this one here. The one over by you. That's the one from
this
Mecca.
one right here. Yeah.
That is what the Mecca, that is the future of Mecca. Take a look at all those enormous skyscrapers that are around the Kaaba. Now, one of them has already been built, and that is the big clock tower that is already there.
Right. Which is the Mecca time, technically speaking.
It's going to be Mecca time, and he wants to bring all of time to begin with Mecca instead of the British Mean Time. Or Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. It's going to be MT, Mecca.
And it's being implemented, by the way, by many satellite programs in the MENA area or in the Middle East. They use Mecca time as the standard time.
As the standard time. We don't yet in the world.
That's right.
And what he wants to do, let's look at the slide again of all these buildings. He wants Saudi Arabia to be the magnet for all of technology. He wants to be the magnet for all education. He wants it to be the magnet for all social enterprise. And the fascinating thing is, you say that he is the crown prince, but he is the de facto ruler right now. He is the one that's actually controlling and running the country. His father is getting old. Doesn't have the hands on. And this is the future of Saudi Arabia. So he wants to do this project by 2030. We're now into 2021. He has 9 more years to go. And what he's really pointing out and what he really wants to do is he wants to start with what they're going to call the NEOM Project. Now, let's look at this slide here, because these are the things that he in this interview, it's about an hour and a half long. In the first hour, he went through where he's at so far in 2021. So as he said, he wants to stop all dependency on oil. He wants to diversify the economy, and he wants to bring unemployment down to 4%. Why 4%? Mm-hmm. Because that's perfect. That's a perfect economy. You're always having people who are either unemployed or looking for a new job, and that's why 4% would relegate to that. He has already eradicated income tax. He wants to build these enormous superstructures in these major cities, particularly in Riyadh and in Mecca. We saw the pictures of that earlier. He wants to get the top 4 Saudi Arabian universities that are right now in the top 500. There are 4 major universities, one of which you went to, did you not? Which is the one you went to?
King Abdulaziz University.
And where's that?
And that's in Jeddah.
That's in Jeddah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of them. 3 other ones, 2 of them are in Riyadh, 1 is in Jeddah, and they are in the top 500 in the world according to the Chinese, who are the ones who grade all the universities to send their students to. What he said is he would like to get those 4 in the top 10. So he wants to compete with Yale, he wants to compete with Harvard, he wants to compete with the University of Pennsylvania, Cambridge, and Oxford. He wants to compete with the top ones that are already there in the United States and in Britain. He wants those 4 to be in the top 10. So that students will come to Saudi Arabia rather than come to the United States and Europe.
That's right.
And on top of that, he then wants to bring technology to Saudi Arabia. Now, how is he going to do that? Let's look at the next slide. Take a look at this slide here. This is called the NEOM Project. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I mean, NEOM is the name of this future city that is technology-based. It's really out of this world. I mean, it's just a futuristic city in all aspects, technically speaking.
Okay, I want you to look at this picture right here. This is the Gulf of Aqaba, and here is the Red Sea. So this is the Red Sea. Mm-hmm. There's the Gulf of Aqaba, and the NEOM city is going to be right there, right where that line begins.
Right.
And that line is this city right here. Okay, that's what it's looking at. It's being built. Here's another picture of it from another angle.
Right.
This is what we're looking at, and this is going to be built, they're saying, by 2030. They're already building it. He didn't say much about it. He didn't have to, because all the architects and all the engineers are already there. And then I want you to look at this line. See this line going up here? This is a line that goes from the Gulf of Aqaba all the way up to Tabuk. That's 110 miles right there. Mm-hmm. 110 miles of this. This is what they're going to do. They're going to put pods all the way along it. Pods all the way along it, from here all the way to Tabuk. In those pods, you have 3 levels. The top level is where you live. And that's where you work. And that's where it's going to be open to the air. and it's going to be all completely air conditioned. The second level underneath, which is underground, is the service level. That's where all the services are happening. That's where everything that keeps you going. But so you can live comfortably up here, the services have to continue, but they're out of sight. They're down here.
Right.
The third level underneath then is the transportation level. That's where the red line is. And this third level is going to have a super fast train that goes at 110 miles. To go 110 miles, they can do it in 20 minutes without stops.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, they're going to be stopping all the way along for these different plots. Every one of those is going to be a little enclave, which will then become cities. They'll grow into cities. Now, that is where the technology is going to be. And that's where the new Silicon Valley is. And what he was saying is, we're going to take Silicon Valley, we're going to take the best and the brightest from all over the world, the best engineers, the best scientists, we're going to bring them to this line. They call it the line. That right now is in desert. That's just desert. That's barren, wasteland. And they're going to make it the technological capital of the world.
Right, and it will definitely transform the whole area once you do this. Not to mention, of course, you're familiar with this, that the perceived location or the possible location of the actual Mount Sinai exists there. So this will become not only a place for work, but even a tourist attraction.
Yes, because now the belief is that if Mount Sinai is here, and that means this is where Moses was, therefore this is where the children of Israel came through, you're going to see lots of Christians and Jews who are all going to come here. So it's going to be a tourist magnet. Now, let's just move and let's just see one of the things. So let's look at the slide here. It's going to be the most advanced project in the world, 110 miles of state-of-the-art technology that's going to be implanted. It's going to be there. We're talking about the next 9 years. You're going to see it all happen. The line going to the Gulf of Aqaba to Tabuk will be where all the best scientists and engineers are being brought. Those are the 3 layers that I talked about. They're going to have robot maids in every house. They're going to have robot dinosaurs, even dinosaurs, these huge monolithic beasts that are going to sit there looking down, and you can move them around and they can actually walk. They're going to have flying cars. Now, stop and think. We don't have flying cars today, do we?
Yeah, I mean, there are some technologies here that ahead of their time, for sure.
Obviously, some of this is yet to be invented.
Right.
And then they're going to have an artificial moon, a moon that looks down onto the NEOM Project, onto the city right there in the Gulf of Aqaba. And it can be changed depending on what kind of moon. If they want a crescent moon, or if they want to start the beginning of the fast, or they want to end the fast, they can have their own moon there to be dictated by those on the ground. Now, stop and think. Listen to all this and tell me, as a Saudi Arabian, how does this make you feel?
Well, of course, you feel proud, the fact that we're heading in a direction like this, and this is, without a doubt, a new direction for the country. Of course, granted, Saudi has always been wisely spending their petrodollar. I mean, the country and the government always took care of us, took care of the people, took care of the cities, took care of the country. I mean, highways, wonderful architectural, taking care of the coastal lines, and even water, providing it from the sea, and so on and so forth. But this is taking it a step way beyond that.
People are saying this is just like Dubai. No, it is not.
It's beyond that.
This is not Hollywood. This is not fairyland. This is not Disneyland. Dubai is Disneyland. This goes way beyond Disneyland, because this says this is serious. This is actually serious work. This is really going to be it's going to be the head of everything. This is going to be foundational to every type of technology that's yet to be cracked. Mm-hmm. We're going to be going to Saudi Arabia to get all our education. They're going to have hundreds and thousands of students coming in who want to be trained there, which means they're going to have to bring in all kinds of professors from all over the world, which means they're going to have to open up a lot of the rules and regulations. Now, stop and ask, what has MBS already been doing? You notice he is the one that has said that women now can drive.
Absolutely,
He's
can drive.
They can take off the head coverings when they're in public.
And no need for the Guardian, system.
That just happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
He's pushing back on every one of these rules and regulations that we've known Saudi Arabia being so strict with. He's pushing back on all of them. Why do you think he's doing that? Well, so he can accommodate this. Now, that's to show you what he is doing. There is a problem. We're going to talk about that in the next episode, because this was brought up. See, remember I said for the first hour, he talked about all these accomplishments that he has done already and that he's going to be doing.
Right.
These accomplishments he's already done. Now he says, well, what about the future? Mudaifa came up with a question.
Right. And of course, I mean, you and I know, once you're talking about a country like Saudi and headed in a direction like this, and especially what you mentioned about women driving, no guardian system, even the head covering and so on and so forth, I think people are starting to feel like, wow, are you sure you're talking about Saudi?
Exactly.
So I think next time we'll talk about what problem can this create.
Okay, and that was the last 30 minutes of this interview. We've done the first hour. I want to talk about what happened after this first hour. This was absolutely lip-smacking. I mean, I was sitting there, and I wanted to go live there. I wanted to be there, and I was listening to him and said, wow, what a perfect place. This is the first time I've heard somebody who's actually creating a future that all of us want, but he has the money to do so. See, he has the petrodollars already in the bank. He is already putting this material together. He is already building these buildings. That rail line is already starting to be constructed. This is something that is actually being accomplished, and it's going to be accomplished in the next 9 years. That's in our lifetime. I was saying this guy is actually putting his money where his mouth is at.
Absolutely.
Nobody has promised this, but nobody has accomplished so much in just the first 6 years.
You ought to give him credit.
You have to give this guy credit.
Definitely visionary, and we'll continue.
But there's a problem. I don't want to say what it is yet.
Yeah.
Let's wait for the next episode, because that's the problem that we're going to talk about, because I want to talk about two different things. We're going to have probably 2 more episodes, maybe 3 episodes, because I want to talk about this problem, because it's fascinating what he said next. Over to you.
And that's where we're going to leave off at the moment, because we definitely want to take a look at, what could happen by way of a negative reaction to this really 2030 vision and this amazing, interview, the comments that were made in it, and also where does MBS want to take this, the country and the direction he's taken in, which is amazing and exciting. I mean, I am so proud of the fact that he is doing what he's doing, but we need to be also addressing the other side, the side where
there is an elephant in the room that needs to be addressed.
There is some reaction that may come out of that. Let's take a shot at that and expose it for what it cost. With that in mind, brother, thank you so much, of course, for the work that you do. I know you did address this in a couple of episodes in your own channel, so I'm excited that we're doing it together here. And until we meet again next time, everyone, have a blessed day.